The Bank of Canada has made its third consecutive rate cut in 2024, and there's talks of more to come. So that must mean a boost for the real estate market, right? Not quite. Prices are dropping, inventory is at its highest in years, and homes are sitting longer than ever. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, this could be good news or bad news. Today, we're breaking down what's really happening, what it feels like to navigate this market right now, and what it means for you if you're planning to buy or sell soon. My name is Jessie McClellan, and I'm a realtor here in Oshawa, Ontario with the Lisa Abbott team, and I do my best to give you an honest and unfiltered perspective on our real estate market. So if you'd like to stay up to date on everything happening, especially here in Durham Region, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also always use the link in the description to book a call with me if you have any questions about buying or selling a home here. August is usually a slower month for real estate, with many people putting their plans on hold until after the Labor Day weekend. But this year felt especially slow. With sales already down throughout 2024, the drop-off was even more noticeable. In Durham Region, new listings fell by 20% from July to August, transactions dropped nearly 9%, and active listings decreased by 3.5%. While this dip in activity isn't surprising, many of these listings could return to the market in September or October as sellers regroup and hope to see an increase in activity. Despite a slight drop in active listings, our months of inventory rose to 3.1 months, and the sales to new listing ratio climbed to 44.2%. Taking into consideration these stats, along with the overall trend we've seen this year, we're still in a balanced market and continuing to trend towards a more buyer-friendly market. Homes are taking longer to sell, now averaging 23 days, and the sale to list price ratio has dropped to 100%, with fewer properties choosing the strategy of listing low and hoping for multiple offers. The average sale price for all home types in Durham Region dipped from $915,000 to $907,000. I'm not going to break down each area as there really isn't a whole lot of difference between them, but Whitby and Ajax have relatively low inventory compared to the rest of the region, and I would expect to see those levels increase slightly between now and the end of October. However, Whitby has always been one of the more desirable areas in Durham Region and always seems to sell for a little bit of a premium over Oshawa and even Ajax. In my opinion and experience in working with buyers, when it's an option for buyers budget-wise, they tend to prefer Whitby because it's less pockety than Oshawa and less busy than Ajax. So will the latest rate cut change these trends in the market? Probably not. This is the Bank of Canada's third rate cut this year, and we haven't seen any increase to the number of sales or prices after the first two. With the current high number of active listings combined with more listings expected to come back on the market in September, the way buyers have been approaching the market is unlikely to change in the near future. The lower rates do boost buying power, and it does feel like there have been more active buyers out there seeing homes, but they're using the market conditions to their advantage and taking their time in the process, especially since the interest rate is continuing to come down. Lisa and myself are prepping a couple listings to hit the market in the next couple weeks, and even speaking to colleagues, it seems like quite a few sellers are getting ready to list this month. Unless we see a big surge in buyer activity, which I don't anticipate, we're not going to see upward pressure on prices anytime soon. Especially because buyers are being very cautious as not to repeat the mistakes of those who bought at the peak of the market and are being more critical of the homes they're viewing and more willing to wait for the right one. It feels like more people are window shopping and browsing rather than committed buyers seriously looking to purchase because the urgency is gone, and unfortunately all of these conditions are causing a disconnect between what buyers are valuing homes at and what sellers are. The talk in recent months seems to have shifted from concerns about inflation to now concerns about the unemployment rate, as that's continued to rise in recent months as well. I think with some uncertainty surrounding job security for some, and even just the reality of the increased cost of living starting to set in, even with the interest rate cuts, I don't expect to see a flood of new buyers rushing back into the market just yet. If you're going to find yourself on the selling or buying side in the near future, here's my opinion on the market right now. Buyers, I wouldn't be overly concerned about seeing any notable increases in home prices in 2024. But if you plan on buying in the next 6-ish months, there's probably going to be a sweet spot where the mortgage rates being offered are lower and home prices are down as well, and the timing may work out well for you. So if that's your plan, it may be a smart decision to be running your numbers and getting your ducks in a row so if the timing feels right for you and your family and the right opportunity comes up, you're prepared and able to take advantage of it. I also believe there's a good chance we see home prices pick up in the spring, as activity and prices have tended to trend that way for the last several years. Now, that doesn't mean that home prices will skyrocket next year. In fact, next year may look similar to this year, but we do typically see that bump in the spring regardless of where the market ends up throughout the rest of the year. Up until recently, the first-time homebuyer segment of the market was moving the fastest relative to the market, but now even some homes in the $600,000 to $700,000 price range are taking longer to sell. Now, for some of these homes, it's because they aren't in the greatest areas or the greatest condition, but for others, it's just because they don't show the best. Some of them lack staging, some of them lack good photography, and some of them just have minor cosmetic issues. Simple things like that can really hold a listing back and cause it to go stale on the market, but that can be an opportunity for you if you're able to look past the fact that there isn't staging or whatever small cosmetic issues it might have. The last point I'll add for buyers is last year in December, we saw a sharp drop off in our active inventory as sellers pulled their listings over the holidays, likely realizing that they weren't getting the activity or price they had anticipated and opted to wait to relist in the spring. That will probably happen again this year to some extent. So if you're going to be shopping towards the end of the year, it might be best to try and get into something before you get too far into December, where options will be more limited. Now, for sellers, my advice is going to be very similar to last month's market update. Pricing is going to be the biggest factor when it comes to your success. And that's easier said than done because we've had such low transaction volume that you might not have a lot of recent sales that are comparable to your home to help you determine your price. And if you have to go back 60 or 90 days to find the most comparable home that's sold, those prices are likely inaccurate and you'll have to adjust for where the market currently stands. Even if your home is priced right and shows like a 9 out of 10 online and in person, that doesn't mean that you're going to see a flood of showings. Depending on your area, home type, and the price point you're listed at, you may just see showings trickle in here and there because buyers are not feeling pressured to get out and look and book showings right away like they were previously. If you want to sell your home for the most you possibly can get for it, you don't want your home sitting on the market for a long period of time. If you're sitting on the market for 50, 60, 70 days, you're going to end up doing multiple price reductions and selling for far less than you could have had it been priced better from the start. In order to sell in a reasonable amount of time, you almost have to be ahead of the market a little bit with your pricing. Otherwise, you risk always being behind the market and chasing it down, which will result in a lower sale price. And don't skip out on what's proven to work. Professional staging and professional photography make a huge difference. Buyers have a lot of options right now, and they're not going to even bother seeing homes that don't look like the best and nicest options in their budget. And I know some agents and sellers have mixed opinions on the effectiveness of open houses, but if you can accommodate them, I would highly recommend it. I've had very good traffic through my recent open houses, and while you will get the odd nosy neighbor and tire kicker, there are serious buyers who will come through your home. Especially here in Durham Region, it's not uncommon for buyers to be working with an out-of-town agent who will send them to open houses rather than drive out here to show the property, so take advantage of that. I have sold homes because of open houses, and they do work in this market, and I think you and your agent should be doing everything you can in this market to set your home up for a successful sale. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one next week. Bye!